You're watching Impact. I'm Lise Doucette. Our top story this hour. Foreign ministers of some 70 countries are meeting in Tunis to demand an immediate ceasefire and access for aid in Syria. Well, this week has seen more renewed shelling of cities of home in Idlib in Syria, with scores of people being killed every day. Two international journalists and a Syrian citizen journalist, Rami al-Sayed, also lost their lives in the conflict this week. Many images of casualties have reached global audiences thanks to activist and citizen journalists like Helen Abduldayem. He was in Homs after the veto at the UN Security Council was exercised on a resolution earlier this month.
This is a field hospital. It's 7 o'clock a.m. This is a little child. He's about 2 years old. He got hit with this water bomb in his house. Is this what the UN is waiting for? Is this what the UN is waiting for? Till they finish any more children left? Till they kill all the children, kill all the women?
Well, Danny and his mother Helen join us here in the studio. Danny, just tell us, I know you're still in contact with people in Homs. It's a very risky situation. Just how risky is the life there now?
Well, there's no safe place. You've got to understand they're hitting more than 500, maybe 600 rockets a day in just that area I'm living in, Bab Amr. So you've got to imagine, it's only like 15 square kilometers, and 600 rockets could land anyway. They're bombarding randomly. So you're not safe. Not in one place, not safe. We always walk with our mouths open. Snipers all around. You have to go across the street running. Even kids run across the street running because the sniper will just shoot anyone.
Now, I know you've also been involved in efforts to get medical aid into the city. Right. The international community today in Tunis is talking about opening up a corridor. How hard is that going to be?
Well, that's going to be their responsibility. They have to open it. They have to make it a safe way. But what we are asking for is not that. What is more needed is arming the Free Syrian Army. If there is no Syrian army, this is finished.
Don't you worry about that it will become even a more full-blown civil war?
It's not a civil war. It is a war right now. What is going on right now is a war, bombarding. They're killing us. If it wasn't for the Free Syrian Army, there would be no demonstrations. How are people going to demonstrate peacefully if there's no one protecting them?
Helen, would you agree with that? I know you've been watching every twist and turn in Homs. You spent many years there as an English teacher and now living in Cairo.
Yeah, of course. I agree completely. I think if they're not going to send anybody in to help them, then they have to arm the Free Syrian Army in order to give these people a chance of survival, because what else can they do? The peaceful demonstrations, they're going to go out and start hitting the tanks with olive branches, or it's become absolutely ridiculous. 11 months. I was out 5 months ago saying the same story. It's escalated. It's become much, much, much worse now, and these people need help as soon as possible.
Have you given up all hope of a peaceful resolution to this? We know a referendum is going to be held in Syria soon. We heard from Helen Abduldayem of the Syrian National Council. They say there may still be people it's possible to have a dialogue with in Damascus.
In the Ba'ath Party, in the Assad government? Absolutely not. I don't think you'd find anybody in the Assad government who isn't corrupt, who isn't part of this. I don't think the boys on the ground would agree to be talking to anybody inside the Assad government.
What do you think of Danny, what you heard from Helen Abduldayem, the spokesperson for the council?
There will be no dialogues, no peaceful talks with the regime. It's killed more than 10,000 of the people, raped our women, killed our children. And we're just going to sit there talking to them. We want them to be moved out, to taken to criminal courts. And why until now the Bashar Assad has not lost his legitimacy? That's just funny. We wish we had the oil. If we had the oil, we would have got our freedom 6 months ago.
What else do you expect to come out of Tunis, and aside from this discussion of an urgent humanitarian corridor?
I expect another discussion, another talk, while people talk, while people are dying in Syria.
So you're quite cynical about any...
Yes, I've been in this for a year. The UN, the Arab League, everything. We have nothing, no help from anybody until now. We have got used to people talking, discussion, and no action while we die on the ground.
Well, yes, and let's look at some of the latest pictures that are coming just today from Homs. Some more injuries. You yourself, Danny, have seen those injuries close up. Right. If they did find a way to open a dialogue that could stop this bloodshed, surely that must be the priority.
If they open a way so we can get the injured people out, we could get the injured people out. That doesn't mean the Syrian army won't stop hitting. It would hit harder. If the National Council or the UN doesn't do anything about this really early now, it will start bombarding us with planes.
What do you say to those who are worried that the opposition is divided, that there are some who take much harder lines, others who are more open to continuing a dialogue?
The opposition might be a bit divided. We ask them to gather themselves up and to help the people in Syria. We're dying, we're becoming numbers. 70 today, 60 tomorrow, 100 the day after. That's what we're becoming, numbers. They need to gather themselves up and start helping and start working good. We need actions, we don't need talks.
And Helen, do you think that the work of citizen journalists like Danny and others can continue with the growing death toll?
They won't give up.
You don't want your son to give up?
I don't want him to go back because I know the risks that it's going to be, but that they won't give up. I don't want him to give up if we want the truth. No, he has to keep doing what he's doing. You've seen what's happening with foreign journalists who are getting in. It's absolutely horrific, and we admire these brave people who go in there and try and do something to help get the truth out. But apart from them, this is all we've got. All we've got are these young boys on the ground getting these videos out, trying to show the world exactly what is happening on the ground.
And what is your picture? We see these horrible pictures of the clinics and the children who are dying, and that you lived in homes. Yes. But of course, I have government people saying to me that their families come from homes and they feel scared and terrified.
Lived in homes? What exactly?
Well, that they're from homes too, and then they're in their neighbourhoods. They still support the government. They live
still
in homes.
Support the government? No way, absolutely not. Not the people in Homs that I know. There is nobody left in Homs that supports the government apart from the militia groups who are working for Assad, who are armed gangs now. These are the only supporters of the government left living in Homs now. You ask him, he's been there recently.
We have no supporters for the Assad regime there.
Supporters for the Assad regime apart from the militia.
The militias have taken over 2 or 3 areas. They're using mortar bombs from their areas to hit us every day.
Helen Abduldayem, thank you to both of you for coming in
and
discussing with us the situation in Homs.